how do you decide whether you need a will-based plan or a trust-based plan? Today I'm going to quickly talk about some of the rule of thumbs we use here at Summit Legacy Law to help our clients decide which way to go. So first, we're going to start with a will-based plan, which is simpler. So usually it's for much simpler situations. We might have an individual, a single person, or we might have a couple that is maybe just a nuclear family. All of the kids are together kids. There are no issues about prior marriages or a blended family. In that case, then we look at the real estate holdings. If there is only one piece of real estate that the person or the couple owns, like their personal residence, we might decide that a probate is not that big of a deal and just go with a will-based plan and let the probate happen. Also, if there are no minor beneficiaries, like no minor kids, no minor grandkids that are going to be receiving assets, this might be okay if all of the beneficiaries are grown-ups who are okay to get money outright or assets outright and do with those assets as they please. A will-based plan might be just fine. Also, if the client has net worth that is not large, so maybe $1 million or below, it might also be easier to just do a will-based plan. And if the client has a few accounts, like bank accounts or retirement accounts or life insurance, basically other accounts that are disposed by beneficiary designations or POD, payable on death designations. Again, those go outside of probate, and if there's just a handful of them, it might be pretty easy to manage if those needed to be updated over time. So now let's talk about when we're looking at a trust plan for a client. So this again can be a single individual or it can be a family, and especially if it's a blended family situation, we're probably looking at a trust in that case. Again, we're going to look at the real estate holdings, and if there is more than one piece of real estate, we're probably talking about a trust. So it might make sense to avoid probate with multiple pieces of real estate, especially if real estate is located in different states, because then it would require ancillary probate, which is an additional probate. So you might be looking at 2 or 3 different probates in different states. So again, multiple pieces of real estate might mean we're looking at a trust plan. Also, if there are any business ownerships, if the clients have interest in any of the LLCs or S corps or partnerships, there are usually different agreements that might involve disposition upon the client's death, but we also don't want that to be stuck in probate. We want to have a trust where we also address business succession provisions. If there are minor children or minor beneficiaries, then we're also talking about a trust-based plan, most likely. Minors under 18 years of age, they cannot hold legal title. They cannot own assets legally. So if those any assets are left to the minors, it will be whoever their guardian is, probably a parent, and maybe that is not who the client wants to be in charge of that money while the child is growing up. And then another issue with minor beneficiaries is that once they turn 18, then they get unfettered access to these assets. And we don't really want 18-year-old millionaires, and of course we all know that they're most likely going to blow that money and maybe even get into some bad things. So there might be some ways to structure a trust to where that money is released over time to these beneficiaries. Also, if the beneficiaries have special needs, there might be issues with government. If that individual is receiving government benefits, we want to make sure to protect those benefits. So then we're talking about trust-based plan for the client. Also, if the clients are wealthy, if they have over $1 million of net worth, they're probably looking at some creative options on how to dispose of that, maybe looking at some charitable donations or charitable bequests. So that is another reason to be thinking about a trust-based plan. If the clients have many accounts, again, bank accounts, retirement plans, other brokerage accounts that can be disposed by beneficiary designations or POD, payable on death designations. If there get to be too many of them, and if the client wants to make a change, then they're making change in 10 plus different places, and it can get very confusing, can get very messy, things get out of alignment with the client's desires. So at that point, we're talking about a trust plan, which provides a common distribution scheme, and then the client doesn't have to worry about keeping 10 plus beneficiary designated updated anytime they want to make a change. and also if there's any need for post-death asset protection. We might be talking about the surviving spouse or the surviving children, if the assets need to be protected, or maybe just desire to protect those from potential remarriage or divorces or legal suits or bankruptcies. So that is another really good reason to be looking into doing a trust-based plan. If you like this information, I'm happy to keep doing these videos. Just follow me.